Welcome, everyone. Dr. Thor here. Get ready for Gnosis. Well, this is the Radionic Temple Podcast 1. I've made lots of podcasts, and these will eventually be listed on a podcast broadcast area. And we're going to take this international and go to all the mediums where podcasts are offered to a select group of people who just get it. I'm not really interested in any kind of controversy. Anybody has their own belief systems. That's not what this is all about. And of course, your personal belief systems can always be intermixed or synergistically combined with proper wisdom. Now, Gnosis is all about wisdom. The ultimate goal of everyone is wisdom. Making the right decisions in your life, meaning having wisdom, based on your personal situation, reality, etc., is what creates success. And, manifesting is what life's all about. Yeah, that's right. If you can manifest, then you can get on. So the whole idea is people have problems and have to become corrupt and evil and rotten because they can't manifest. It's not the love of money that has caused problems, even though that's really the quote from these different booby biblical papers or books that go back thousands of years, which are basically just synergistic information from many traditions. And of course, it's not money, it's the love of money. The lack of money has caused most of our problems out there, combined with the love of money. The problem is people don't seem to get enough of it, and rich people want to make sure that they steal as much as they can from you. It's their way, and we need to understand that. So, we have to really understand the reality of all that goes with it. So, the Radionic Temple, radionics in itself is a spiritual path. That's right, it's a spiritual path. An extremely powerful path that uses modern, ancient, and futuristic technologies to change your life. And we need to do that. We need to be able to take care of our lives and go to what's important in life, which is ascension and getting out of this physical trap. Plain and simple. You can get all the cookies you want. You can own all the gold on this planet that's available. And even the gold that you can dig every ounce of it, every drop of it out of the soil. Well, in the bottom line, you ain't going to live past 90, 100 years old, so it doesn't matter. And most likely when you approach 90 or 100, you're going to be dribbling and pooing in your own pants. You come into this world pooing in your pants, and you leave this world pooing in your pants. It's a sad. What can you take with you? Well, it ain't that lump of poo, otherwise known as gold. It's going to be cosmic wisdom, starting in another place where things have proper value. And what's valued is intelligence, caring, love, and everything that has really value in the long run. Not some physical trinket, not the fact that you have a collection. I've said this many times, and, I keep thinking about a shop I went into in Torrance, California. And in this shop that had antiques, among other things, but it was kind of this strange retail shop. I saw something that I've always kind of liked in my life, which is toys, particularly metal toys. This was something that people used to do, metal toy soldiers that were hand-painted. These have been going for years out there by different manufacturers. And I looked at these, and they're fairly primitive quality, but I looked at these rows of metal painted toy soldiers, usually called lead soldiers, and there was a little sign there that said, from the estate of Jack Webb. Now, I don't know how many people out there, since we're so international. Jack Webb produced the Dragnet radio and TV show that was on for 20 years, Emergency, Adam 12. He was a big Hollywood producer, particularly in the United States, and who made a lot of money and had a thing for law enforcement. So, unlaw enforcement. So, here's his life. Here's this rich and famous guy, had all this Hollywood success. And here's his stuff in a tiny little shop in Torrance, California, up for sale. And I don't believe they were selling for much either. I didn't actually buy those at the time, and I don't really miss not buying it. But it's interesting. Here's your life. That sign could have said John Smith or whomever. So the whole idea is that's where your life is going to end up. So the big reality out there is you have to plan for your ascension. Physical reality and staying well at a high functioning level for as long as you can is important as well. All of these secrets, ascension, manifesting, anything you desire, you can pretty much have everything within reason. Now, everything means what you need to live well. If you're living rich, you miss the point. You shouldn't have too much. You shouldn't have excess. That should be given to somebody that has nothing, even if they poo on it and throw it in the trash like most poor people do when you give them something better. They don't understand it. And those are all the stories that I will be passing on to you, the great wisdom and, of course, the great practical knowledge. But everything is synergistic. If you don't get how to use this advanced technologies to empower your life because you have higher understandings, it doesn't work for you. It's not supposed to work for you. Dummies are not supposed to be empowered. That's for regular society. You graduate Harvard and Yale because you're a dummy. You become a corrupt cog in the wheel for the sewer satanic group that runs this world. They will never, ever be able to get the higher empowerments that Radionic offers. But believe me, these people are seizing this industry to use it for their own devilish, demonic purposes. And that's one thing about this podcast that I do want to make sure everybody knows. So this is the Radionic Temple. This is a spiritual path. It is not a path of God and belief and systems. If you like that and you can synergistically bring it into your life, and it's very difficult giving up old gods. It took me many, many years to finally flush the stupidity of religions out there. So you always are trying to, and I've done even recently, up to about 5 years ago, or even 3 years ago, trying to give credit to the Lord God. That doesn't work. All of these religions, and particularly the people involved in it, are scum. It's as simple as that. They have no morality, they have no courage, they have nothing. So look, where are your ministers, your priests, your rabbis, your caliphs? Are they in the street fighting for anything? No, they're not. They don't do anything to help the people whatsoever. So let's get real here. So, people are being murdered in the street. We have millions sleeping on the street. And where are your great religious leaders? Nowhere to be found, the cowardice scum that they are. So that goes back to another reality. And it has nothing to do with anything. I have no connection to any religions, any races, or anything else. There is no such thing as good anything. There are good individuals, people who rise above their situation, who I try and help, of all creeds, races, sexes, etc. It doesn't matter. There are nothing good. As a matter of fact, intrinsically, this world is all evil, no matter whom they are and whatever tradition they come from. That's just a fact. So the only thing that you're kind of trapped into as a person is your fact of your own personal sexuality to a degree. Most people, you just can't change your sexuality if you want to, whether you're straight or gay or anything else. So this is a problem. And if you're a person who is stuck in that confused area, well, again, this is a life lesson that comes to you, but it's really sad. But in the end, that is your particular built-in. And this is something we should look at as well. Why is that? But that's for another podcast. So as we go through this, you'll be given the secrets of all times here. And I have done fabulously well in my life, coming from absolutely nothing with 2 mentally ill parents and everything that goes with that, being victimized at every possible level. But I rose above that. I made over $50,000 a month at one time. And of course, this was when the evil forces came in to attack me, your society scumbuckets, your Satanists, who I've always fought against. But even with that, I rose above that, did quite well throughout my entire life. Buying a house in Southern California at the age of 26, buying my first business at 28, and from there, it's been skyrocketing. Even though I've been hampered with sick, negative, bad people in relationships and other things, and of course, a society that has used me. What's ironic is that these same evil Satanists come to me and make money off of me, selling their books and their products because their own societies are weak, feeble scumbuckets that never could do anything. So let's make sure that I came from very humble beginnings with a lazy, evil father who did absolutely nothing, while everybody else around him made millions through the boom time of the 70s and 80s, where anybody that had 20 cents put together could buy something and profit from it. So the whole idea is I will go into these things in other areas when and if the time is appropriate. But it's important to understand that, and I still reach extremely high levels of success in everything I do. So it's really part of this. Success in life and manifesting really has to do individual as well. What channels do you have? And we lay all this out in our courses, etc. And if you want to be successful, you have to follow a particular system. And you have to commit to it to a degree. Take the time. I make everything as easy as possible. I'm very lazy. I'm very dyslexic. I don't want to spend hours studying anything. I want results. I don't want philosophy. I want action. But, life is not about philosophy. It's about thinking in the right way to manifest what you want. And that's what these podcasts will bring out, as I've done in all of my YouTube lectures. And you should hunt all of these up. This is a new way of doing it. Here's my old, built 30 years ago, mini 9-dial. Beautiful gold-plated, gold wire, gold-plated again. Quality, like I'm known for. But you can get yourself a piece of crap built by Satanists or some con man with a little computerized unit for $5,000. Which does absolutely nothing. What crap that is. So I'm going to let you know what the good, the bad, and the ugly is out there. And you'll be able to take your life, put it on a speeding train forward, and achieve whatever you want in life. To maintain a good income, to be able to afford to live in a decent place, eat good foods, and of course have a high level of well-being so you make sure you never, ever get any serious conditions. And live as long as you can. And, of course, the trials and tribulations that go with that. You are living in a prison camp earth. Everything is against you. But, of course, there are the few in-between people like me that will help you on your path so that you can gain whatever you want out of life. And, again, if you want to be rich and have mansions and beach houses and drive Rolls Royces, you don't get it. The only people that get that stuff are the scum. So, but it doesn't mean you can't live well and be successful in life, take care of yourself, your family, and do the necessary things in life to ascend and get the hell out of here. So, nothing else has value. Like famous people and their toy soldiers, you can't take it with you, and you never will. It's an old saying, and it is so profound, and the older you get, you certainly will understand that. But let's also clarify, there's nothing great about being poor and stupid. This is another enslavement, just as being rich is another enslavement as well. Rich people are enslaved to make money, and this corrupts them ultimately, complete and totally. And poor people are enslaved to survival, so they're in the same position. So we need to understand that, and what is the golden mean? What is the, of course, the proper way of doing everything, which is that center, beautiful path of balance of life. That's as simple as that. And I've been taught through all of this. I've had a fascinating life when it really comes down to it. As I said, I basically was brought up in a low middle class, which is really a very terrible place to be. Because you're really not part of the poor, and the people who are middle class want nothing to do with you. It's kind of an interesting place to be in. So the whole idea is that, if you can even call it middle class, basically, it, growing up in the 70s, when real estate, you could buy a house in California for $30,000, anybody could afford everything. Cars were $5,000. So the whole idea is you could get all these things very easily. So that's what, of course, my lazy, stupid, cowardice father was able to prosper from and able to survive because of that. Without a college education, being a pseudo aircraft engineer, etc., which you could do back then with no education. So as we move into all these things, we have to understand the path. Now, we live in a completely different world now. The ways of making money, the amount of money you can make is quite different. There are many, many ways of making money without going to the horrible 9-to-5 and working for minimum wage, which you can't even live on. So there's lots of ways, and we're going to talk about that as well. I mean, this is a very unique organization that has training in business, particularly alternative business, and there's a lot to learn there. And I can save you millions of dollars and make you millions of dollars by getting my business advice. We also, of course, have a complete radionic spiritual training school that shows you how to make radionic instruments and what it's all about. We teach you the essence of life, which is subtle energy physics. Subtle energy physics is quite interesting and exciting because of the fact that it tells you how the entire universe works. What makes it work? Well, it ain't your regular physics taught by your boobs from the mental idiot technology school, otherwise known as MIT. So the mental idiot school is not going to get you anywhere. Those are all part of the people that seem to produce absolutely nothing and keep empowering the most scummiest people on the planet by giving weapons to the complete scumbuckets, otherwise known as politicians. But remember, it's not them, it's you. These all come from you, and you empower them through your nonsense. So we all have to understand that and understand what's going on. Here's some new technologies. Some really cool stuff here, which we'll be talking about in other lectures and so forth. So moving past all that, the Radionics teaches you everything you need to know in life. It is a high-level spiritual path to gnosis and ascension. Because everything you do radionically has to do with dealing with real ascension manifesting sciences, not the fake stuff, not the electromagnetic nonsense that they push down your throat. Radionics teaches you all the high-level empowerments that you need to know, how to open up your consciousness using subtle energy skills. This is what you need to know to go to higher levels of existence in general. And that's really what we need in life, is to be at high-level existence. It's not about being rich or pretty or wonderful. It's about performing and being happy and getting to a path of ascension. That's the only thing that counts to go with any of that. Here's our new, this is really a wonderful pendulum that we have just located, rose gold. It has the important actual round ball here, excuse me, which really we've shown is very important for picking up subtle energies, and a nice little energy tip. Highly recommended. And of course, everything you get from Radionic Tech is empowered, and everything now is going to be coming with a new empowerment plate. So very, very important, as our whole system is changing now as we go into next level of everything. So all of this is critically important to understand out there, critically important to get involved with and to support. Now, while I'm going to talk about some very amazing and powerful things on this particular podcast, which will be distributed internationally through hopefully all sorts of sources, the real powerful stuff, which I can't really talk about here. I can't talk about so many things here because of the censorship, mediocre garbage through the big businesses that are YouTube, eBay, Amazon, with their fascist and reality that they live in. So you can't really talk about some things that are very potent, including the fact of lots of very potent technology that have to be given to only a small group of club people, or it doesn't have to necessarily be small, you just have to be part of the club. So, of course, this club starts in Patreon, and, of course, she is also included in All Access, which is on our website. This is where you're going to get huge amounts of free, empowered information and give you the access to personal assistance and help from me. But you're not going to be able to contact me directly other than email unless you are a member of Patreon and All Access. I'm a very busy person, and I work with people who work with me. You support me, I support you. I recently got an email from somebody who wants me to support them without a mention of all of that. I'd like to learn about your work and see what we can do to work together. How can you help me? Well, that's going to get you very poor results with me. I'm happy to work with anybody who wants to work with me. It's all about mutual support. Secondly, we have to understand the fact that there are huge opportunities for anybody who is seeking opportunities. These will be listed on our website again, and opportunities and job openings. We have lots of jobs. We have lots of openings. We have lots of potential business situations that we can get into. And there, I have hundreds of projects that I can't work on because I don't have the time. So what I'm doing now is setting up a new program. That new program is called the Business Partnership Program, where we work together with for mutual profits, meaning the profits are split 50-50, and it's a partnership. And there's very little investment required. Most of it is time, but there are some investments for some people. If you're going to build products for us, well, we're shifting over because I don't have the time. You're going to have to go out and buy the supplies you need. You're going to have to go out and buy the parts and other things. All of this is a very small investment, but also assures your commitment. Over the years, we've had a lot of people we've tried to help, and since there's no commitment on their end and no investment, they easily drop the ball because I guess they expected to be millionaires within 90 days. They're also easily corrupted by the evil people out there that approach them who want to stop our work. Just the way it is. It doesn't bother me. It just empowers me. The more that are against me, the more I know I'm on the right path. And believe me, a man is not measured by what he does for life. You can measure a man by the amount of enemies he has. And believe me, I have a lot. So that makes me one of the greatest people on the planet. Not only that, they have people that, of course, are too cowardice to do anything on their own, so they get in their little groups and everything else. Nothing new, baby. Keep it coming. It just empowers me more every day, you weak gang scum. So the whole idea is that that's what they are, and of course you'll find that entirely around the world. Nothing new there either. But if you want to ascend, if you want to go to the higher levels, well, don't think it's the most easiest path. There are no easiest paths. I guess you could be a corrupt scumbucket for all the criminals out there. Most people are. 98% of society is working with criminals directly or indirectly. Just the way it is, people. So the whole idea is there's lots of opportunities out there, and you could do quite well, be independent, be on a high consciousness path, and help other people. The technology that I produce helps the individual. I have case history after case history of people who have changed their lives and are living much better today, who have solved their well-being problems and who now are able to survive for many years longer. All of these things have happened through the work of Radionic Tech and the consciousness that I bring to it. And no one else has this consciousness. And there are lots of pitfalls, landmines that are out there constantly looking to suck you in and defraud you. People who will sell you toxic garbage technology, as I've featured on my YouTube channel and All Access and Patreon for several months now. You want one of these in your life? You want to support people that are the dregs of society, pedophiles, criminals, people who traffic other humans? And of course, I like that term. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, it's called sex slaves. What the lowest crap that is. And it's amazing that there are plenty of customers. So, who go into rape houses. I knew a guy like this, one of the scummiest people on the planet. So the whole idea is that, these people don't care and they're the lowest scum that is out there. Well, you don't have to fall to that level. You can empower your life and be successful by working with Radionic Tech, by supporting us. And that's very important. And support is low cost and easy to do. Get involved in the energy, get empowered by the organization, and work with us. And that means that we're not going to do everything for you and send you a check. That's not what it's all about. You work with us for mutual benefit. If you're not into that, well, then you're not going to be working with us. We have very tight systems now. We have recently reorganized and are changing our technologies radically. And this is all going to be part of the entire new system that I am instituting out there. And of course, have been pushed in this direction. And as usual, it's always for the best. So we need to fully understand those realities out there and fully understand the concepts that go with that. So keeping everything in perspective here, this is a fantastic opportunity for anybody looking for an alternative reality. Now, this doesn't mean that you disregard everything in life. If you've got a good family, if you're happy with some of your belief systems, well, those can be incorporated. This is not a religion. The Radionic Temple is a philosophical and spiritual path. Philosophical means it directs your thinking to manifest. So, spiritual means it's a high level of energy. It's not something that you turn a dial or your physical reality unto itself. What is real is informational energetic fields that form the universe, otherwise known as subtle energy physics. This is what's real. This is what makes everything happen. And I've done this time and time again in my own life against fantastically horrific odds. And I always win. So the whole idea is that this is part of the reality that's going on out there as we move further and further into all of these kind of empowerment situations. And it's time for you to change your life. You know, I think after these last few years of trauma and terror, and we're going into world economies that are collapsing and who are in great jeopardy, and things don't look too good. Well, this is a great time to change your life. And it doesn't really require much money. What you have to do is support the important organization of Radionic Tech to begin with, but this is a modicum of investment. You need to learn what needs to be done. You need to make sure that you are supporting an organization that will bring you the finest and best empowerment and manifesting tools there is, because life is all about manifesting. And manifesting is misinterpreted as thinking that somehow that this is just money. Well, money manifesting is the lowest level you can get. It's not about that. It's manifesting success, manifesting skills, manifesting higher states of understanding so you make all the right decisions. If you make the right decisions, your life becomes perfect. But you have to understand the laws of manifesting. You have to first make the right decisions, but if you don't empower those decisions by using empowerment tools, you will fail. You need the edge because life is always against you. And this is an unfortunate but true fact. So as we understand all that stuff and what goes on in the reality of all that stuff, is that we have to understand the greatest tools ever created, which are consciousness-based tools, which as a kind of classic labeling of them was called radionics. Radionics is, in modern times, is used absolutely for everything. It doesn't matter what you're trying to do, whether that's increasing well-being, balancing your etheric body energies to take care of maybe what is a body energy problem, growing vegetables without poisons on them, manifesting success. It's all there, plain and simple. So this requires a training, a development, but generally results are gotten pretty quickly at some significant levels right away. But if you want to be a master manifester, well, you have to also train yourself, use the proper systems, take control of your mind, and of course, make sure that your energy bodies have been opened up and empowered so that you can manifest what you want by when you empower it. It's difficult to empower things if you're blocked and everything else. Again, you have to understand the concepts of being uncrossed and removing blockages from your life. This is all part of the keys to manifesting. And we have it all. We know exactly what it takes for you to manifest whatever you want in life. Simple as that. We have all the systems, we have all the tools, but, you know, you have to apply it. You have to understand the basics. If you don't use that, then, of course, there will be certain problems. So we all need to understand that as part of the situation that is being done in general. So this is all critically important to your success, but we know what it takes. And remember, I've done it. I consistently done it all the time. I took nothing and turned it into a $50,000 gross business a month selling unusual products that is near impossible to do. I had the first and only Radionic store for 3 years. And all of this was done without the help of even the community of Radionic people who ignored me. So I published books that were never published before, offered rare books as well. All the things that couldn't be done by others, I did and did it well and prospered. So all of that happened until the corrupt people came in to, of course, destroy things and certain economic community type things. But the world is a lot worse for me not having my bigger institute with all that information that I had as well. It's not better for it, and this stuff is not found on the internet cheap, and all of the things that went into. And of course, there's a lot of people that, of course, don't want this information out there. Well, that's all part of life, isn't it? Isn't anybody? And if you want to go by basic, even religious things, which I'm not a fan of, any religion. I don't have any use for any of it. But if we look at religious people from the Mormons, well, wasn't it John Smith who started? Well, they hung him, you know. They killed him. You want to look at Jesus? They killed him. So the whole idea, as we go through it, etc., to all the different traditions, even in Islam, of course, Muhammad was thrown out of cities. They tried to kill him as well, and eventually came back because of money and a richy wife to able to push his values on others. But every religion we see out there has survived only by the actual force of the people that support them. So it's all very, very interesting when we look at this. But the secret of the ages are here. You may want to find some little obtuse past, some strange teachings, pick up on a little bit here or there. Well, you're doing yourself a disservice. Anything that is powerful, that is based in manifesting, that has high spiritual value will be here in the Radionic Temple. Plain and simple. But nothing in life, including all those temples and churches and everything else you see on every street corner, is done because it's free. That money doesn't come from outer space. It isn't dropped in buckets from the sky by little green aliens or dropped on your doorstep because you did a little ritual. It has to come from people who support the concepts and who have benefited from them. So you have to participate to help those types of situations manifest. Again, this doesn't have to be a lot. Just the fact of buying from the organization, of course, helps it. But, we need people that get out there and donate a small amount. If we have several thousand people donating small amounts of money, this is what the organization needs to be able to spend my time doing things to help more individuals. Right now, things are spent on, well, you got to keep the business going. Unfortunately, life is expensive and you need to make thousands and thousands of dollars a month just to survive. Unfortunate, but true. But the tools are out there already. We are shifting over in many different ways. We're going through another reorganization to put the organization's products and services that work much more efficiently internally and externally. We're putting a lot of energy now into doing things for people, empowering their lives, using our machines and technologies to help people directly by working on them and doing services to remove toxicities and other things and helping them on the path at reasonable prices. So we're doing a lot of that. We're making our systems much more personalized, much more easy and modular to use. It's really an exciting and ultimate transformation here as we move into the next and final stage of radionic tech as I'm getting to be older. So the whole idea is, but there needs to be a potent, excellent system out there and ready to go that is easy to use so we can get on and do more important things in doing our development. We have so many fantastic tools in development, and this isn't easy to get done. Too many people are scattered. It's hard to find people that have any kind of interesting work capacities and who really want to be successful. And a lot of these people are very weak as well, and of course are easily manipulated by the unfortunate and evil satanic groups that are against radionic tech and always have been, and there are many supporters. So, it takes a little bit of courage to do things. And do you think that Ascension, you want to be ascended? You want to be in another reality with all the scum that's here right now? Your rotten neighbors, your rotten politicians, your rotten people that are in power. And you want those in the next ascended level? Well, that ain't going to happen. Those people keep reincarnating and keep polluting this plane. And of course, that's the reason this plane is the great filter. Now, if you want to be part of those people that have a chance to live in this much better ascended life, a life of peace and beauty and love, where you grow as a spiritual being, well, you're going to have to do something special and beyond what you are doing today. You're going to have to do something special, and that means supporting and being active in your life. It's not good enough to work for somebody else and donate money. What are you doing directly? Are you doing something in your life, becoming a person? All my life, and my mother was very entrepreneurial, so it kind of fits in. I never wanted to work 9 to 5 for anybody, regardless of what they paid or not. I don't consider that a proper way of life. You shouldn't either. You should be doing something, whether it's a sideline or a side business or doing something on the side, and there's many ways of doing this. Well, how do you do all this stuff? Well, it's not that difficult. Now, I'm going to teach people of how to build their own little businesses as well, and this information will come through it. But remember, there's a lot of information I cannot give here for lots of reasons. So when it gets down to real personal information about well-being, techniques on how to take care of yourself, all of these are kind of controversial. The other things is that I can't really release very advanced tech on a public medium like this. Now, even with a private medium, we have constant people going in there and trying to steal from us and getting information and then trying to jump out like they've done with Patreon. Well, I've stopped that because if you join Patreon, you're not going to be able to close your account out and not pay us. But that's going to change as well because Patreon will not give out potent information unless you're at a certain tier. So you're going to have to invest a wee bit. So this stops a little bit of it. But the problem is that all of my competition, all the evil Satanists who are out there making radionic technologies copy everything I do, and they have been doing this for 30 years. So everything you see out there radionic, generally it was started by myself, and the other people have copied it. And they continue to do it today as the makers of all of these instruments have copied my technology yet again. Their technology is so great that the only thing they can really do is get information from me. So I can't release all this information. It's just kind of counterproductive. So the whole idea is that if you want these fabulous technologies which will increase your well-being and possibly save your life, if you want to reach high levels of success, and of course, if you want to ascend, you're going to have to be participating at higher levels. It's kind of as simple as that. Again, do we really want anybody who gets an internet a connection to YouTube to be able to get potent information? I think not. That takes the information and brings it down to basically a crap filth level, a dumb level of existence. Anything free, as we all know, has no value, or wouldn't be free. So the only thing given to people for free is dung. So we have to understand that. And a lot of times dung is even sold, by the way. If you want to get good dung, you go to a zoo, well, they're going to charge you for it, and rightfully so. So the bottom line is that we have to understand that this is the way and path of life. You certainly will be getting fantastic and great wisdom in these podcasts, which will be unbelievably powerful. And I'm certainly still not going to pull any punches to degree. But there are things I cannot discuss. They will not allow these things to be talked about out there that are plain and simple facts. The people you are listening to are all unconnected. Now, there may be alternative people that have some interesting information. But ultimately, their interpretation of this information, which that's all it is information, but information is really all about how you interpret it. And you can't interpret it properly unless you are actually reached a state of gnosis. So you have to have wisdom to take information and turn it into what it should be, which is wisdom. Information turning into wisdom. And of course, you just see here some of our amazing systems that create energy fields and everything else. And of course, we'll be showing a lot of things like this. And hopefully it makes these talks a little more interesting as we show you some fascinating items I've collected over the years. So all of this works together in a fantastic synergistic fashion to change your life on every single level. So if you are a really successful person, are you successful? What, you got money in the bank that you're going to leave to some ungrateful people or to a cat or to some crap charity like the Red Cross who will blow 99% of it on their internal costs and give free cars and free everything else to people? Is that where you're going to leave your money to? And certainly you should take care of your family and so forth, but does your family have any value? Are your kids or anything else going to do anything? So the whole, what are you achieving now? People are having less and less children, of course, people of any value. The people that don't have value continue to have hundreds of children and will pollute this world further with a scum level of understanding. So we have to understand all of this. But it doesn't matter what you have or not have. The path is still the same, whether you're trying to survive and build a quality lifestyle, or whether you're there now and want to buy a $3,000 purse from Spade, Purse Maker, whoever that is, or whatever the crap you want to spend your money on. There seems to be endless amount of people that can waste tens of thousands of dollars on a bunch of fancy junk to somehow feel that they are successful in life. Well, that's fine. everyone will put those fancy shoes, those fancy coats, those fancy watches. Well, I'm more than happy to put that in your casket. And you can take it with you to nowhere, as has been done by the ancient Egyptians, the Vikings, the Peruvians, the Aztecs. Well, they put all this stuff in the grave thinking, well, you worked hard for this, take it with you. And, of course, everybody just dug these things up and now is enjoying all the stuff that these other people could never take with them. What an infantile way of thinking. So the whole idea is, here's your chance. Society certainly can be changed, and by the way, pretty easily. We have solutions to everything. There's absolutely no reason why